Welcome back to Message from a Watchman. This segment is called Discernment. This is part two of the series Discernment. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I would encourage you to listen to part one in order to get the full benefit of this subject matter. A subject matter that has been widely neglected amongst brothers and sisters. Neglected in terms of its true definition. And so we will continue after the disclaimer has been read. As I read the disclaimer, this is important, and so you will find it in each video and each presentation. The views expressed in this presentation do not reflect the views of any technological portal I use. My views do not reflect the management and or staff of YouTube, Ustream, Facebook, Pal Talk, or any other such communication portals. Like with any information presented, you are advised to research and seek confirmation. Each of us are held accountable for our own actions and decisions. Let the presentation begin. Let us examine some more scriptures. Luke 12:3. Luke 12:3. So whatever you have said in the dark shall be heard in the light, and what you have spoken in the ear and inner rooms shall be proclaimed in the housetops. You see, my brothers and sisters, regardless of whether we want to put constraints and lock things up and keep secrets, it would be wise for us to realize that we're not our own. If we are believers, we have given ourselves a sacrifice to the Most High. We have become believers. We have become one with one body. Let us look at Romans 1:17. For in it the righteousness of Elohim is revealed from belief to belief, as it has been written. But the righteous shall live by belief. See, so this belief, this thing that we cannot see, that we hope for, in discernment, it's belief. It's believing that the Spirit of Yahushua has revealed to us. It's belief that is the comforter that will guide us in truth and righteousness, that will set us free from strongholds and bondage. Let us read on. Romans 1:18. For the wrath of Elohim is revealed from heaven against all wickedness and unrighteousness of men, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. See, so people try to suppress the truth, hide the truth, or just out of plain ignorance or rebellion, they disrupt and distract us from the truth. But it is the wrath of Elohim that is revealed from heaven against all wickedness and unrighteousness. See, so sometimes the Father may use us in demonstrating his wrath, demonstrating judgment by discernment. Let's read further. 1 Corinthians 2nd chapter, 10th verse. But Elohim has revealed them to us through his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all matters, even the depths of Elohim. See, so he's revealing us these things through his Spirit. And I say the Spirit of Yahushua. If you get a chance, go back. Look at John 14:26 when he says the Father will send the Comforter in my name. This is the Messiah talking. Let us read more scripture. So let us continue. So on this matter of discernment, we can see that discernment is clearly defined. It's clearly defined. It's when the Spirit of the Father reveals to us. The question is, are we attentive to his voice to where we know what is it that's being revealed? Do we see the details of what's being revealed to us? And what's the first order of service when something is revealed to us? Now, in my years and experience and walk along this journey, when I first came to understand true discernment, I didn't know any better. I thought everyone was experiencing what I was experiencing, that at least those that were amongst the core fellowship. But not so. And I learned through experience and prayer and study quickly that the first order of discernment is intercessory prayer. Intercessory prayer. Intercede in prayer for that brother, that sister, that group, that situation. Discernment. Hearing and listening to the voice of Yahushua. Spirit. Hearing accurately, making sure that we're listening and understanding what's being said to us. Discernment. It's important that we know how to manage what's been entrusted to us. So in other words, what the Spirit of Yahushua reveals to us doesn't mean that we have to go rattling it off or proclaiming it or speaking out, because there's a reason, there's a purpose. And so through intercessory prayer, we find ourselves becoming familiar with the purpose, mainly, probably, more than likely, in part. But we intercede, we provide intercessory prayer, we manage what's been entrusted to us without echoing and just spewing it out to everyone, for everyone to hear. But we are mindful of the Spirit of Yahushua for his guidance. Okay, now that you've revealed it to us, guide me on what am I to do. And so that intercessory prayer is a give and take, or not take, it's a speaking and listening, timing and action. Sometimes all that's revealed does not mean that we need to do something right then and there. Sometimes the actions may be, and it may be just to intercede. It may just be for intercessory prayer. And sometimes it may require action. It may require being used of the Spirit of Yahushua to demonstrate his righteousness according to his written and living words. So timing and action. And we need to be mindful. Who are we giving credit when something is revealed to us? Who gets the credit? Do you hear many brothers and sisters saying, I praise the Spirit of Yahushua, or I thank the Father for revealing this to me? No. All too often brothers and sisters say, something told me. Something told me. I should have followed my first mind. Yes, we hear those who are non-believers say that from time to time, but I hear many believers saying, something told me. I should have followed my first mind. We need to begin to understand and hear clearly with precision the voice of Yahushua and know that it is indeed his voice speaking. And this is done through intense studying, sound teachings, sound preaching, sound delivery of his righteousness through his servants, through his word, through his living word, prayer, and having a pure heart to worship and obey the Most High. So you see, there's some critical details and dynamics one must consider when looking at discernment. Need I say, let me just review these bullets. Clearly defined, knowing what it is that's revealed, knowing the first order of service, knowing how to hear and listen, knowing how and when to manage what's been entrusted to us, understanding the importance of intercessory prayer, timing and action, when to move, when to be still, when to speak, when to be silent, and giving credit to the Most High, lifting the Father up, lifting the Messiah up. Yes, the Messiah, Yahushua, up, lifting them up, that he'll draw all men. So we must manage our egos, brothers and sisters. Let us not allow these egos to jump into place. So there must be discipline in this responsibility of revelation through discernment. Let us continue. So it could be said when we talk about discernment that there's a degree of judgment. There's a degree of right rulings. Let us examine some scriptures here. Isaiah 4:4. When Yahuwah has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and rinsed away the blood of Jerusalem from her midst, by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. So you see here it is the spirit of judgment and the spirit of burning. Isaiah 16:3. Bring counsel, execute judgment, make your shadows like the night in the middle of the day. Hide the outcast, do not betray him who escapes. So again, we see counsel, judgment. And this can only be done by those who are familiar with the understanding of true discernment. Because discernment is the skill sets that give you the ability to execute sound counsel, execute judgments, make the things that seem to be hidden in the shadows brought into the light. So yes, there's some judgment and right rulings, responsibilities that come with discernment. But he who is spiritual discern indeed all matters, but he himself is discerned by no one. And what that is saying is that no, not an individual, it is the spirit of Yahushua that reveals, that provides the discernment. And we're not discerned by any one person. That one person, it would be the spirit of Yahushua in them. But by their own might, by their own academics, by their own cognitive factors and analysis, no. We are not judged by that. We are judged by the righteousness according to the written scripture, the living word, as guided and utilized by the spirit of Yahushua, so that it all lines up. He that is spiritual, discern indeed all matters. So it's being connected, sensitive, obedient to the spirit of Yahushua. Ephesians 1:3 states, "Blessed be the Elohim and Father of our Master Yahushua Messiah, who has blessed us with every spiritual blessing in the heavenlies in Messiah." So it is through Yahushua that we are blessed with these heavenly blessings and able to discern. 1 Peter 4:17, because it is time for judgment to begin at the house of Elohim, and if firstly from us, what is the end for those who do not obey the good news of Elohim? So you see, my brothers and sisters, judgment begins first at the house of Elohim. It begins amongst us. So some people will say you're trying to start confusion and so forth, but we must realize that judgment begins with us. And it's going to be by virtue of the spirit of Yahushua revealing us one to another. It's going to be a result of the demonstration of iron sharpening iron, when sparks represents the impurities that are departing our lives. So it begins first with us. And it may be that it may appear to be chaotic, but it's not. Let us not mislabel or misdescribe what we see as a result of discernment. For it is discernment, Yahushua fulfilling what is written, the role of the comforter, the spirit of Yahushua guiding us, teaching us, revealing to us, that it may yield a righteous fruit that others may desire to draw close to. All praises and magnification to the Most High. Let us continue on this matter of discernment. Don't go away. This concludes part 2 of discernment. Part 2. Please stay tuned for part 3. I pray that this presentation, discernment, enriches your soul, spirit, mind, and body. Please stay tuned for part 3. Thank you. And as you get ready for part 3 of discernment, I'd like you to take notice to my website. That's www.yaswatchman.net. That's www.yaswatchman.net. And 7 days a week, I open a room in Pal Talk. If you're not familiar with Pal Talk offers a free and new alternative to fellowship. You can reach me 7 days a week, and we can enlarge the scope of our fellowship and interaction by visiting Pal Talk and under the category of ethnic groups and then African Americans, and you will find me in the room Beacon of Yahushua. That is Beacon of Yahushua on Pal Talk. Stay tuned as we move further into this presentation. So stay tuned.